Usually when we talk about a relationship ending, there's this expectation of a clean break.
Oh, totally. Like a fresh start.
Right, exactly. Think of it like an amputation almost. You pack your boxes, you untag the old photos, you awkwardly divide up your mutual
Oh,
friends.
the dividing of the friends is the worst part.
It really is. And eventually, a therapist points at the whole mess and just says, well, there it is. It's over.
Yeah, because we crave that binary, don't we? I mean, you are either together or you are not together. We want those boundaries of human intimacy to be, visible, neatly categorized, and clearly drawn.
But then you step into the world of digital creators
Hmm.
and the modern influencer economy. And suddenly that clean break it's completely shattered.
Oh, absolutely obliterated. The traditional rules of moving on just evaporate.
Right. So we're looking at a relational landscape that is, quite honestly, murky at best and, well, psychologically chaotic at worst.
It is the absolute definition of relational muddy waters. And that is largely because the incentive structures of the internet, they literally actively punish people for setting normal boundaries.
And that is exactly what we are getting into today. We have a massive, truly fascinating case study for you that explores what happens when private intimacy just violently collides with public entertainment.
It is a wild ride, honestly.
It really is. We're unpacking the incredibly complex relationship web of mega creators Jake Weber, his ex-partner Tara Yummy, and his subsequent girlfriend, Kenzie.
And to really understand the mechanics of this whole situation, we've pulled from a pretty diverse stack of sources for this deep dive.
Right, lots of different angles on this one.
Exactly. We are analyzing video transcripts from pop culture commentary shows like Spill Sesh and the Just Trish podcast. We're also pulling details from their personal vlogs and looking at these massive fan community deep dives on the lifestyle app Lemonade.
Those Lemonade deep dives go into insane detail, by the way.
Oh, they are meticulous. But the backbone of our analysis today actually comes from a really insightful piece of sociological writing titled Parasocial Pressures and Creator Partnerships.
Okay, so what is the mission for this deep dive? Basically, we are figuring out how the digital economy commodifies our personal lives. And you might be thinking, well, why should I care if I'm not a YouTuber?
Which is a fair question.
Right. But you should care because this isn't just internet trauma. It is literally a masterclass in how audience expectations can rewrite our real-world boundaries. It's a warning for anyone trying to maintain a private life in a hyper-connected world.
I like to think of it as a magnifying glass on the digital age. It shows us what happens when, your romantic history is also your primary source of income.
Okay, let's unpack this empire. So from 2019 to 2023, Jake Weber and Tara Yummy were basically the internet's it couple.
Very much so.
They dated for nearly 5 years. And during that half-decade, they didn't just build a relationship, they built a massive, completely interconnected audience.
Yeah, their content production was this shared ecosystem. They were heavily, heavily intertwined.
Oh, for sure?
And even though they maintained distinct individual brands, the audience viewed them as a package deal, Jake and Tara was a reliable, engaging, and deeply, deeply profitable format.
And we really shouldn't understate Tara's individual footprint here because it was massive.
Oh, absolutely.
She wields this profound cultural influence, specifically with this Y2K goth, early 2000s party girl aesthetic. Like, fans on Lemonade constantly post outfit breakdowns trying to emulate her exact look.
Yeah, the obsession with her style is huge.
And there is even a massive trend on TikTok revolving around the, quote, Tara Yummy mindset, which is all about confidence and just not caring what people think.
Right.
I mean, she collaborated with the retailer Zoomies on a $35 baby tee that just says, flirting is my day job. And it instantly became a cultural touchstone. People absolutely lost their minds over it. It's an entire lifestyle brand at this point.
Which is exactly why the mechanics of their eventual breakup are so unusual and so crucial to understand.
Yeah.
Because in mid-2023, they decided to end the romantic relationship. But they didn't do the traditional public uncoupling.
Right. No sad notes app screenshot.
Exactly. They didn't put out a sad statement with a black background and go their separate ways. Instead, they transitioned directly into what they termed a platonic best friendship.
And this is where it gets wild. They kept the breakup a secret.
Yeah.
Not just from their millions of subscribers, but from their own friends for a month and a half. They just continued hanging out, continued acting normal, and continued filming together just to ensure this new platonic dynamic was, like, completely stable before they announced it to the world.
And Jake has fiercely defended this choice. In his view, their ongoing connection stems from what he calls the purest form of love.
The purest form of love.
Okay. Yeah, they argued that after 5 years together, cutting someone out of your life entirely just doesn't make any logical sense if there's no toxic jealousy involved. They claim to truly just want the best for each other.
Sure, but let's talk about how that best for each other actually manifested in the real world. Because he bought her a car.
He did buy her a car.
Right. After they broke up, Tara was apparently getting followed in her bright pink car, so Jake bought her a brand new G-Wagon to keep her safe, which is an objectively wild thing to do for an ex.
It's definitely not the norm.
I mean, it's like getting a divorce but deciding you're still going to share a Netflix account. Except this Netflix account happens to pay both of your mortgages.
That is perhaps the most accurate way to frame it, honestly. You cannot ignore the commercial incentive here. The Jake and Tara dynamic was a proven, highly lucrative formula.
That paid the bills. Big time.
Right, and the article we reviewed, the one on parasocial pressures, points exactly to this phenomenon. In the creator economy, the lines between personal emotional processing and, well, brand management are deliberately blurred.
But I have to push back on this a little bit. Doesn't hiding a breakup for 6 weeks while continuing to film together kind of prove that this is way more about protecting a brand than genuine emotional processing?
What?
Because, how do you actually process the end of a 5-year romance if you are pretending it didn't end for the cameras? You're basically acting out a relationship that no longer exists.
You've hit on the exact friction point. Hiding the breakup allowed them to meticulously manage the narrative. It ensured the audience wouldn't abruptly abandon them, you know?
Right. Keep the viewers happy.
Exactly. By doing a 6-week trial run of their friendship in secret, they successfully preserved the commercial appeal of their chemistry. They just pivoted the label from couple to best friends.
But they kept doing the exact same flirtatious content. Like, they are still in each other's vlogs all the time, still hang out with each other's families.
So, okay, they successfully set up this uniquely integrated exes-turned-best friends dynamic. But realistically, that sets a nearly impossible stage for anyone new trying to enter the picture. You're basically walking into a house where the previous owner is still sitting on the couch.
Which creates the perfect structural trap for the introduction of Kenzie Luby.
Right. So, in late 2023 and early 2024, Jake starts dating Kenzie. And Jake makes a very explicit point of saying he wants this new relationship to remain offline.
He was very clear about that.
Right. He doesn't want to make content out of it. He wants to keep Kenzie private. That is a stark contrast to how he handled his 5 years with Tara.
And honestly, it's a completely natural human reaction. He realized the immense psychological toll a public relationship takes, and he wanted to protect this new fragile bond.
Sure, that makes sense.
But the structural reality of his life and his ongoing financial entanglement with his ex made that privacy almost impossible to achieve, because he and Tara are still doing literally everything together. The sources detail how Tara took Jake as her +1 to a private island in the British Virgin Islands for a Tarte brand trip.
Oh, the Tarte trip. Yes.
Her stated reasoning was that her friend Alyssa had a family emergency and had to cancel, and she brought Jake because he, quote, uses concealer.
Uses concealer, right.
So off they go to a romantic private island. And then shortly after that, they went on a cruise together with friends.
Let's unpack the mechanics of that Tarte trip for a second, because this is where the parasocial pressures article becomes really crucial. A brand trip to the British Virgin Islands isn't just a vacation, you know.
It'd work.
Exactly. It is a high-stakes, contractually obligated content farm. Tara bringing her ex-boyfriend as a +1 guarantees maximum engagement. It creates intrigue, it drives comments, and it completely satisfies the brand's desire for virality.
Well, yeah, everyone was talking about it.
But the fallout is what the article calls parasocial friction.
Parasocial friction. Okay, that's what happens when the audience's emotional investment violently clashes with reality.
You got it. The fans were still deeply, deeply emotionally invested in the Jake and Tara romantic narrative. They felt like stakeholders in that relationship because their views and likes literally funded it.
Wow. Stakeholders. That's a heavy word for a viewer.
It is, but it's accurate. So when Jake tries to introduce a private boundary with Kenzie while simultaneously going to private islands with Tara, that cognitive dissonance for the audience turns into friction.
And the fans completely rebelled. I mean, they hyper-scrutinized every single interaction. If Jake and Tara looked at each other a certain way in a video, the comments would just light up, accusing Jake of disrespecting Kenzie.
Oh, the comment sections were brutal.
People were leaving comments calling Kenzie God's strongest soldier for putting up with it.
What's fascinating from a sociological perspective is the psychological projection from the audience. The viewers are applying their own traditional relationship boundaries, the clean break we talked about earlier, to a situation that is fundamentally built on blurred lines.
But let's be real here. Kenzie isn't just competing with the ghost of an ex-girlfriend. She's stepping into the ring with a fully monetized, audience-approved Fortune 500 company. Tara isn't just a former romantic partner.
Precisely. Tara is a core pillar of Jake's professional life and his public identity.
Go, let me play devil's advocate for a second.
Go for it.
Are the fans actually wrong to be upset? Can we really blame the internet for being confused when Jake is going on private island trips and buying luxury SUVs for his ex? If your partner did that, you'd be a little concerned.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, imagine your significant other's ex is contractually obligated to go on a tropical vacation with him to sell concealer. That's absurd.
It is a completely valid reaction from the fans, and it's why the audience dug their heels in. From a traditional relational standpoint, the boundaries seem dangerously porous.
Dangerously porous is a good way to put it.
But the creators, however, they argued that because their lives are so thoroughly documented, they operate under different rules. Jake's defense was essentially, hey, you only see the 10 minutes we post on YouTube. You don't see the reality of my private commitment to Kenzie.
But the internet doesn't care about what it can't see. The audience only cares about the content served to them in the feed. And because the viewers were turning the situation into this incredibly toxic viral debate, Jake, Tara, and Kenzie were essentially forced to step out of their private lives and actively manage this massive public relations crisis.
They had to intervene. The narrative of this messy love triangle was threatening to overshadow all of their individual work. It was no longer just gossip. It was becoming a massive liability to their brands.
Right. So on May 1st, 2025, they deploy a major PR maneuver. Tara and Kenzie make a joint appearance on the Just Trish podcast, hosted by Trisha Paytas and Oscar Gracie.
Yep, the big sit-down.
The entire goal was to publicly put these feud rumors to rest. It was basically a corporate press conference disguised as a podcast interview.
And they didn't stop there. Tara also posted a very specific TikTok with Kenzie that same week.
Oh, this was brilliant. She used that Charlie XCX song, Girl, so confusing, for the audio.
Yes, and specifically the Lord remix. If we look at the cultural context of that specific track from last summer's Brat era, it is incredibly loaded.
Oh, heavily loaded.
Because that song is literally about two women in the music industry who the public and the media constantly pitted against each other. They finally sit down, squash the rumors, and realize they actually support one another.
So it was perfect for them.
Exactly. Using that specific audio was a very loud, intentional statement designed to mirror their exact situation.
Okay, so it was a deeply strategic move. But what does this actually tell us about the creator economy?
Well, this is where the Parasocial Pressures article dives into a deeply troubling structural issue. It reveals the intense expectation placed specifically on female partners to perform what the author calls the cool girl archetype.
Let's unpack that. What exactly is the cool girl archetype in this context?
So in the digital space, the cool girl is unflappable. To protect the collective brand metrics and to appease a hostile fan base, Kenzie was structurally required to publicly endorse her partner's intensely integrated relationship with his ex.
Wow.
Yeah, because if she expresses any normal human jealousy, the audience labels her as toxic or insecure, which could completely destroy her own online presence.
That is so messed up.
So she has to smile for the camera, go on the podcast, and essentially say, hey, I'm totally fine with them going on a cruise together. It's a survival mechanism.
Think about how exhausting that would be. Having to perform your own relationship for an audience of millions just to get them to stop harassing you. So when they make these collaborative TikToks or go on podcasts together, is it actually for Kenzie's peace of mind, or is it just a hostage video to protect the Jake and Tara engagement metrics?
That is the pivotal question of this whole deep dive. The sources indicate that while the women likely harbored no actual ill will toward one another, the public performance of their friendship was essentially mandated by the audience's toxicity.
Right. They had no choice.
They had to put on a show of unity just to get people to back off. They were managing stakeholders.
But that attempt to put out the fire actually just provided the audience with more kindling. Because when every action is a PR move,
Yeah.
the audience just starts looking for the cracks in the facade.
Oh, people love finding the cracks.
Despite these coordinated displays of solidarity, this constant performative PR didn't fix anything. Just gave the internet fresh material to analyze, which ultimately accelerated the collapse.
Exactly. You cannot out-PR a parasocial mob that is determined to find drama, which leads directly to the breaking point.
Right, so we move a few months down the line to mid-2025. A photo starts circulating online. It's from Tara's birthday celebration, and it features Jake standing right there alongside both Kenzie and Tara.
And that single image acted as a lightning rod. It sparked the absolute peak of the audience backlash. Critics spent hours analyzing the body language, the physical positioning of the three of them, and used it as definitive proof that the dynamic was disrespectful to Kenzie.
Like they're body language experts all of a sudden.
Right. They treated a candid party photo like it was the Zapruder film.
And it was the final straw. Because shortly after, on August 8th, 2025, and this was the big 200th episode of the Just Trish podcast, Jake publicly confirms that he and Kenzie have broken up.
The autopsy of this breakup is incredibly revealing. Initially, Jake and Kenzie gave the standard diplomatic influencer answer. They just hit a wall.
The classic hit a wall.
Yep. They tried everything. They still care about each other, but it just wasn't working out.
But then Jake actually admits the truth. He admits that the internet played a central role in destroying the relationship.
He was remarkably candid during that interview. He explained that the relentless pressure, the inescapable daily comparisons to Tara, and the audience's complete refusal to accept his platonic bond with his ex-bissers, it all created an environment where fostering a private relationship was literally impossible. The noise was just too loud.
So if we pull back and look at the whole picture, what does this actually mean?
It highlights a really grim sociocultural implication discussed in our sources. When your life is the product, the audience demands a board seat.
Wow, a board seat.
Yes. Jake desperately tried to keep his romance with Kenzie private, but the audience felt entitled to a vote on his personal life because they had financially funded his career through his previous relationship.
That's dark.
It is. The commercial incentive to perform intimacy for views directly undermines the emotional security required to foster a new private relationship. You simply cannot serve two masters.
It's a tragic irony. Jake wanted his new relationship to be completely private. But because his past relationship was entirely public, the internet refused to let him log off. He was trapped by his own digital history.
The audience essentially held his new relationship hostage until it broke under the pressure.
Does this mean it is fundamentally impossible for a mega influencer to have a normal dating life once they've sold their first relationship to the internet?
Yeah.
Like, if you monetize your romance, are you doomed to have every future partner subjected to this kind of digital torture?
It certainly suggests that the blueprint for a normal dating life just doesn't exist for these creators anymore. Once the boundaries of intimacy are erased for content, you can't just draw them back in with a Sharpie and expect millions of people to respect the line.
Right.
The parasocial mob doesn't forget, and they certainly don't respect Sharpie.
It's honestly terrifying when you think about the psychological weight of that. Which brings us back to you, listening to this right now. While you might not have millions of YouTube subscribers dissecting your every move, everyone in the digital age faces a version of this challenge.
Absolutely. We all have to manage digital boundaries now. We all deal with the digital ghosts of our exes.
Oh, the digital ghost, yeah.
Whether it's untagging old photos, navigating mutual friends' Instagram stories, or just seeing their updates on our feeds, we all have to decide how much of our private life truly belongs on a public platform and, what the cost of sharing it might be.
Exactly. It scales down to all of us. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final, slightly unhinged, but entirely possible thought to chew on.
Uh-oh. Let's hear it.
As the lines between content and reality blur even further and audiences become even more demanding, are we moving toward a future where influencers will literally hire actors to play their romantic partners on camera, just to protect their actual real-life relationships from the parasocial mob? Like hiring a literal stunt double for your dating life.
I mean, it sounds like a dystopian science fiction plot. But given the immense psychological toll and the financial stakes we've just discussed, a decoy partner might actually become a viable, necessary PR strategy.
Right?
It could be the ultimate firewall against an intrusive audience. I wouldn't be completely shocked.
Now, we want to hear from you. This whole situation revolves around one massive, deeply polarizing debate. Do you think it's possible to truly stay best friends with an ex? Or does keeping them in your life inevitably sabotage your future relationships? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.
It's a debate that clearly has no easy answers, but exploring those different perspectives is always really fascinating.
And hey, if you found today's deep dive into the messy reality of digital relationships fascinating, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a video. It really helps tell the YouTube algorithm that people enjoy this content, and it pushes us out to more curious minds just like yours.
It's all about navigating those algorithms, both in relationships and online.
You know, at the start of this, we talked about how a breakup is supposed to be a clean break, an X-ray of a snapped bone. But when the internet is the doctor, the X-ray is never quite clear, and the healing process, well, it's broadcast live to millions of people who all want to tell you exactly how to set the cast. See you in the next deep dive.